Okay, so let's look at another text here. Exodus 9:34. It says here again, but when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunder had ceased, he sinned yet again and hardened his heart, he and his servants. And so the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people of Israel go, just as the Lord had spoken through Moses. Again, so what did God speak? God spoke that I will harden Pharaoh's heart. So there again, God, the text showing us God's part in fulfilling in Pharaoh what he said he would do. He would harden Pharaoh's heart. Again, this is not to say that God directly created sin or that he caused unbelief, etc. I do believe that God let them, he let Pharaoh and his servants basically be their own Egyptian and sinful selves, their pride. But still, God does not, he does not absolve himself from having a role in the hardening. God is clearly participating in this. Again, if you want to look at it as God permitting Pharaoh, that's fine. But God made a choice to permit Pharaoh and his servants to harden themselves. So another text here in 10:1. Then the Lord said to Moses, go into Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that I may show these signs of mine among them. Again, God giving purpose to why he is going to harden Pharaoh's heart and his servants. And again, this is for God's glory. This is not just, to just to look at Israel and their own benefit, but it's for God's glory. God proclaiming his name among all the earth. We go 10:20. And 10:20, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not let the people of Israel go. 10:27, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. Again, God's role. 11:9 and 10. Then the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh will not listen to you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not let the people of Israel go out of his land. And then from there, the Exodus, the Passover happens in 14:4. We read, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them, and I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his hosts. So again, God's glory is at the forefront here, not man's free will. God's glory is what's important. In verse 8, and the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And finally, 14, verse 17, and I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they shall go after them, and I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his hosts, his chariots, and his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I have gotten glory over Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. And then I guess I'll just kind of skip over to verse 30. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Israel saw the great power that the Lord used against the Egyptians, so the people feared the Lord, and they believed in the Lord and in his servant Moses. And so there we go. There we have it. There are the texts. I trust that I didn't miss any, but let's face it, there's no running from the facts here. There's no explaining away anything. This is God is taking some responsibility here for hardening Pharaoh's heart. How he did it, I don't think this text exactly works this out, but theology has come to recognize the idea of permissive decrees. But again, it's God still decreeing. Okay, I guess maybe we could have this idea of there's decrees of God, but then there's how does God decree? There's some that God decrees that are active, and some where God is passive, and he uses more of the creatures, more of their own faculties to bring about his will. But all these things that the creatures are still doing are within God's will. That is, God has chosen to allow these things to happen. He has chosen to use the creature in the manner that the creature is, according to its nature. Okay, so let's kind of step back here and see what's going on. So again, God has just revealed himself to Moses previously in Exodus 4 as I am that I am. The idea is that God is going to be who he's going to be regardless of any type of circumstances. No creature, in other words, nothing created will ever be able to dictate who and what God is, or what he needs to be, or what he will be for his people. God will always be there. God will always be what he needs to be for us, and that's our great confidence in the Lord, in the great I am. So, with God having so much power, infinite in power, it's very obvious, I mean it should have been obvious, that to save Israel, God could have just spoken a word. He didn't have to use Moses. He didn't have to do many things the way he did. He could have just caused it to be. But God has, he has greater purposes that he's trying to do for us. God is trying to show himself. He's trying to reveal his glory. He's revealing his character. He's revealing his power. He wants people to know who he is. So when he tells Moses, you're going to go, I'm going to give you all these signs, I'm going to give you all these wonders, you're going to go do them, but I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. Maybe Moses, in one sense in being discouraged, could have gone, okay, I got all these cool things, but wait, you're going to do what? You're going to harden it? I'm going to go and do all these things and you're going to harden his heart? It might not make sense, I mean, like, okay, well, why am I doing this? But God has a purpose. And we clearly saw in the Exodus account what was God's purpose. That his name might be known among all the earth. I have to ask the question, how important is that to us? I've been doing some studies recently on that topic, the name of God, and what it means, and really and truly it has challenged me. How important is that to us, that God might be known? Not us, and again, this is why this whole thing, Lou just going after Dr. White, if this is about God, then keep it about God. But, I don't know, it's about God's glory, and that's where we need to keep it. And where I have problems, I think, with Mr. Ruggiero's take on a lot of this stuff, is that he doesn't want God's name to be known. He wants man's power to be known, and man's ability to be able to dictate to God who he can save and who he can't according to their free will. Again, the creature in charge of the Creator, the absurdity of that, I really do think that whole free will thing is, it's an idol. It really is. It's an idol in the church. We need to look to God. God will do whatever he will do. If he's chosen, this path of salvation, to harden Pharaoh's heart, to display more of his power against Pharaoh, and there's multiple things going on here. God displaying judgment over the gods of Egypt and stuff like that. But ultimately, again, it's why? So that God would be known as the one true God, that he might be exalted. And so, not trying to be a hero in these video responses. I hope this wasn't a comedy routine. I hope this at least was some sort of serious engagement in the scripture. But again, not denying it. I'm definitely not going to, what was the word here, explain away the hardening. No, I think it's important that we look at it, we stare at it directly in the face, and that we be in awe and in wonder of God, who in his condescending down to us in covenanting with us, that hardening could have been anybody. If anything, we should marvel at the grace that is definitely shown here to Israel, and that is definitely shown to all the elect for one person to get grace is just more than enough when we consider where we're at. Let us not think that we're exempt from the pride that held Pharaoh. That same heart, that same fallenness was in each and every one of us. We can go to Ephesians just to remind us, don't forget, you were once dead in your trespasses and sins. You also once walked in the futility of your mind. That was us. That was each and every single one of us. None of us deserve God's grace ever, and we should consider that really and truly.